Good? Fantastic. All right, second hour Writers Week. Let's hear it. Round of applause. Here we go. You know, we have a Pulitzer Prize winning author coming up next hour, but the most important thing is we have your peers up here speaking in front of you today, willing to share their pieces, which is going to be super exciting, right? This is why we're here, is for you all to share your voices. I do want to give a quick shout out, though. New this year, this is really pretty cool. So as you're listening to your peers present, we have these thank you cards set up here. So if you're ever feeling like you want to say something, acknowledge the awesome words that they have up here, come up and you write a nice thank you. We have some cool thank you notes and pens and a mailbox that you can toss it in there. So do that, right? Acknowledge what your peers are saying. Okay? Thank you. Shout out boosters, all the good stuff. Teachers, awesome. Anderson, Ank, you guys rock. Okay, let's get this started. We have Camilla.
Hi. Shout out to Mrs. Fudal's AP Lit class. So I wrote this poem about losing the spark in things that you enjoy, and I kind of compared it to when you kick someone out of your house. Yeah. They have all overstayed their welcome. It was fun while it lasted, but eventually they just loiter, unbothered, close friends to strangers, unable to pay what is required. All of them have turned out the same way. I used to know my roommate paper mache, inspired by the things I wanted to make. Now the glue and all the paper, creations unfinished, stay tucked in a box in my closet. And as for me, I washed my hands again and again. The feel of the glue still lingers on my hands. I kicked her out and didn't look back. As for my roommate's guitar and clarinet, they sit lifeless in the corners of my room. A layer of dust has coated them. Mold has grown on the old reeds, and the strings are all out of tune. And as for me, I hide under the blanket, trying to shield myself from the echoes of the melodies I used to play. I kicked them out and covered my ears. And as for my roommate Art, they moved in and brought everything with them. Canvases, boards, journals, lined all my shelves and filled my drawers. I'd bring a pencil and a sketchbook to bed with me. We would stay up late whispering secrets, but now there's nothing left to say. Pencils remain unsharpened, papers blank, old finished pieces all piled in a corner, next to my instruments, underneath my old paper creations, yet Art still demands to know more. But as for me, I turn away. I took my hands in my pockets and closed my eyes, unable to escape the ghost of my passion. I kicked her out, but I wish she could stay. Up next is Omar.
Hi, I'm Omar Brito. So this poem I wrote is dedicated to people who have finally went to their country of ethnicity, and I reflect on my few visits to Mexico, and I wrote this poem because I wanted to express where I'm from, where my family's from, during a time where it may seem that having pride in your country of origin may have felt suppressed. As of recently, people like me and my family have been labeled as aliens, savages, animals, but we are human at the end of the day, and the only thing more powerful than the hate is the love. And I wanted to dedicate this poem to my people. As a Mexican American, there is something about the land of Mexico, a version of yourself you never knew existed, a version of yourself that feels rooted in its humid soil. The culture of our parents lives in us many ways, but it's not always taught. You see it every day. But when you arrive, you easily fit in. It's not where you grew up, but it feels familiar. It's a place that reminds us that culture has no borders. You get a glimpse of where your ancestors grew up. Your heritage begins to tug at you. Even though you don't live here, this place knows you. It knows what you've been through, and it will always have a place for you. Mexico, my blood, my soul, my heart. I wanted to honor my father. I wanted to honor each Mexican who had to fight twice as hard to get as far. I stand here carrying their sacrifices forward, like my dad. Thank you. Next, Reda.
Hi everyone. My name is Aradna and I'm a sophomore. Shout out to Miss Marsh's second period English. I dedicate this poem to everyone in my life who has gotten me through some tough times. This poem is titled Dancing Through the Storm. The storm. They tell you that the storm always comes to an end at some point in time. They promise that the clouds will break if you just wait it out. Everything happens for a reason, they say, but they're not the ones standing in the never-ending rain, rain that lasts for months, months that turn into seasons, seasons that bleed into years. Time heals all wounds, they say, but they don't prepare you for the way the air stays heavy or how one day you forget the exact color of a clear blue sky. No one ever tells you about the storm itself because that's the hardest part to get through. And yet, they tell you that there's always a rainbow at the end of every rain. But to make a rainbow, you need sunlight. So what happens after the rain if there was never any sunlight during the storm? Hope. Hope is defined as a dream in the mind of what can come. More simply put, hope is like a white-knuckled reflex, an instinct to reach for every bit of happiness when the rest of the world just seems to be noise and rain. It's what makes you want to hold on and never let go, even when you know it's best if you just let it be. Hope is the feeling that there will be light after the storm and puddles to dance around in. Hope is people. Sometimes I like to look back at the road I've walked so far, gaze at my footprints that stretch through miles of gray, and remember what life has offered me. The experiences, the memories, but most importantly, the people. The people who didn't just wait for that storm to end. My family, my friends, everyone I've ever loved, who grabbed my hand, who built me back up carefully, brick by brick. So thank you to my parents for always giving me grace, to my friends for always showing me love, to my sister, to my teachers, and to those who have stood beside me through it all. In the end, it's the people who give us sunlight, the people who become our hope, who stand with us during that storm, reminding us until we remember how to dance in the puddles again. Thank you. Next up is Mara.
Six, seven. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna come here. You're gonna.
I can extend my tippy toes, it's fine.
All right. Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. So I have a short story prepared today that I also made into a comic. So you'll look at the panels projected here while I narrate it. And also, the flower that I have projected right now is called a blue scilla, and it's like those little blue flowers that you see like bloom like twice a week in a year. So just to preface it. Oh, and shout out to Miss Marsh's second period. I sit in a plain gray computer lab. My eyes struggle to stay focused on the screen. The only noise is the sound of footsteps and the clicking of keyboards. Already finished with my last project, there isn't anything left for me to do but to mindlessly look through my computer. My endeavors led me to my Google Drive, where I came across a folder for an old project. Whoa, I whispered to myself. I forgot about these videos. Clicking one of the files, I'm presented with a short clip. Me and my friends hanging out near the baseball field during gym. Warmth fills my chest, causing me to grin. I remember this. We were laughing about how I fell earlier that day and bickering about what would be the best camera shot. Everything starts coming back to me. the texture of the grass, the thin air of spring. Those were good days. The painted scene in my mind fades away as I curiously see what other treasures there are to uncover. I click another file. This time, I see the public library bookshelves. It seems I filmed it sitting on the ground. A voice can be heard from off camera, from someone sitting next to me.
So I'll move here on the graph and then.
That voice. Every emotion I felt back then all rushed up from the depths of my mind, all arguing with each other for who gets the spotlight. The love, the hate, the confusion, the days of longing, the teen stupidity of believing it would all last. I snap out of my trance to realize I had logged out of my computer, cutting out the rest of the video. I can't shake off the thick feeling that's left on me. It sticks to me like a spider's web, his voice weaving every strand, stringing back together the forgotten days of our past, sitting in the park field together, consoling our distraught emotions, spending time in the library. Oh my gosh. Okay. Spending time in the library talking about whatever was on our minds. The day I had to say goodbye forever. That voice, I haven't heard that voice in a long time. I'm still getting over the shock that I'm actually sitting next to him again. He still looks the same way as the last time I saw him, if not better. He still wears the same frumpy sweatshirt, still has his rough, calloused hands and cracked lips. It's as if no time has passed at all. Grass rolls and waves as far as my eyes can see. I watch the dandelions and blue scilla flowers sway around our legs, the same flowers we exchanged all the time back then. They seem to take on their own rhythm, dancing and intertwining with each other, flowing in the wind. I can't believe you actually had time to come visit, I smile. He really is sitting in front of me. He decided to come visit when I thought he'd never choose to see me again. All my prior doubt disappears.
What can I say? I miss you.
He replies, his voice echoes in my head. I forget all the pain I experienced before, all the days I doubted if we were meant for each other, fighting against the time bomb, questioning if he really loved me. I guess there was a happy ending waiting for me after all. I miss you too. I fall onto his body, pulling myself in his chest. I close my eyes and feel everything all at once. The roughness of his hoodie on my skin, the scent of his cologne, the ends of his curly hair pricking my cheek. The warmth from his hand spreads from my back, venturing up my shoulders, to my chest, down my arms, and then settling on my hands. I take it all in, savoring every sensation. Every breath, every subtle movement, the fighting of emotions inside me silences. I know exactly what I feel now. I'm so immersed in my bliss that I at first don't notice the warmth slowly fade away from my fingertips. I feel it disappear from my arms, in my chest, and my back. In replacement, I feel a numbing cold rest on my skin. I open my eyes to reveal that he's gone, and in replacement is a sharp knife resting on my body where he once laid. The knife cuts my hand and then clatters into the grass as I sit up, startled at the revelation. All the scilla flowers that had shown a bright blue now are wilted and turned a mushy gray. I'm all alone in a field of lasting dandelions, but I can only see the spots where the blue scillas once filled the world. I wake up surrounded in a blanket of blue darkness. It takes me a couple seconds to realize I'm lying in my bed. The dream slowly fades back into my memory in flashes of color and emotion. His hair, his hands, and his clothes are all projected in my recall, but not once could I see his eyes. It didn't happen. None of it happened. He didn't come visit me. He didn't say he missed me. It was all fake. I feel my throat tighten, my eyes and nose sting. Tears streak down my cheeks, and I pull my face into my knees. I don't want what happened in my dream at all. This is something I wanted a long time ago, before I could understand that what I was feeling wasn't love, but hurt. I thought I was done with all this, so why can't I just forget? Thank you. And next is... I can't pronounce. Renaya? I'm so sorry if I butchered that.
Hi, my name is Pranaya Shankar. This is my 4th year presenting at Writers Week. So first, I want to give a shout out to Maneo's second period lit. And today I'm going to be reading a poem for all of my fellow seniors. Time in its concept seems to be eternal, yet in its reality there's nothing more limiting. I try to keep track of it all in my journal, but life moves so fast it doesn't end up fitting. Time fools us with the promise of a new day, yet it caps those same days at a mere 24 hours. Under false pretense, we laugh and we play, not knowing how quickly that ephemeral joy sours. The time for independence is quickly approaching. Responsibilities replace the games we once played. We no longer receive direct help or coaching, since once we turn 18, those needs apparently fade. I long for the comfort of my mother's embrace, but if she held me, she'd just be holding me back. Society forces us to grow up at a rapid pace, not acknowledging all the experience we lack. I used to dread the long minutes of each day, waiting so impatiently for some sort of rush. Now I rush through life waiting for a delay, appreciating any peaceful moment of hush. Taking pauses makes the time go less quick, and my inner child rekindles. The clock's hand continues to tick as our time before graduation dwindles. I'm scared to act as the adult that I've not yet become, but I know hundreds of other seniors feel the same. Together, we're all facing the same outcome, so there's no need for anyone to feel any shame. The time is now here. We join hands and throw green hats into the air, laughing and playing as we cheer, not knowing why we were ever so scared. And next up is Ria Rao.
I'm just gonna hold it. Hi, my name is Ria, and shout out to second period Mrs. Fudala's class. So I have a poem here, and I'm also going to share my experience with new things, but my poem is called I Don't Know How to Dance. I don't know how to dance. I never took any classes, and I usually have 2 left feet. But when that music comes on, you know, the kind that lines up with the beat of your heart and the rhythm of your soul, I shake and twirl and move my body, and I look ridiculous doing it because I don't know how to dance. Yet, there's something beautiful about doing it anyway. Thank you. So I kind of wrote this poem because, especially in this day and age, I feel like since everything is online and we are always seeing the best versions of our other people and always feeling like we need to be the best versions of ourselves, I feel like nobody wants to try new things anymore in fear that they're going to look stupid because they don't know how to. And if you feel like that's you, just dance. You don't have to be good at it to try it, or you don't have to be good at it to just do it if you want to do it, because I think it's just human to dance. And it's not just dancing, obviously. This is a metaphor for all kinds of new things, but you don't have to be perfect and you don't have to be good at it to do it, because the people who really are good at it and the people who you look up to are not going to judge you for trying, because everybody starts somewhere, and it really doesn't matter if you start when you are 4 years old, or you start in high school, or you start after high school. You can start whenever you want. You can literally be whoever you want to be at any time in your life, and the people who really care about you are not going to judge you for it. So I just wanted to share my experience with this in dancing, even though it's something simple, because when everyone knows that type of song that comes on and you just feel like you have to move your body, even if you're alone, just do it, because it makes a difference. Thank you. Next up is Natalie Jester.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and this is my first time speaking at Writers Week, so I'm really excited and hope you enjoy. I remember sitting in my kindergarten classroom, clutching the locket that my mom gave me to hold every time I missed home. As a 6-year-old with anxiety, I struggled talking to anyone, even my friends. The whole day ahead of me would overwhelm me, and I couldn't help but cry and resist staying in class. I hated the negative attention on me. I hated having my head down, but still feeling all the other kids' eyes staring at me, not knowing what was wrong with me. I was a very silly and thoughtful kid, but I would worry that my teachers and classmates couldn't see that through my tears. My family, friends, teachers, and even my principal at the time couldn't have been more empathetic. They would teach me deep breathing strategies, positive thinking, and even let me bring my stuffed animals to school for comfort. I knew that they cared so much, but all I wanted them to do was to go inside my head. I wanted them to feel exactly what I was feeling in my body and in my mind. I wanted them to realize that breathing wasn't going to make the long schedule on the whiteboard any shorter. I didn't want recommendations, I wanted a solution. I remember a specific Sunday night when I was in kindergarten, and I was sobbing at the kitchen table, telling my mom about the panic I felt about the 5-day week ahead of me. Take it day by day, she told me. I don't remember the rest of our conversation. I was for sure too worked up to comprehend anything else she said, but that part stuck with me. So, from then on, I decided to make it my goal to take it day by day until I was able to take it week by week and eventually month by month. I kept working at it even when the school day felt impossible to get through. Flash forward to spring of my freshman year, and I was about to perform in my first ever musical here at Fremd, something completely new to me and something I went into knowing no one. I remember as I was getting ready backstage, I thought about all the new people I met through this experience. I thought about one of the closest friends I made, a boy who got bullied every day for expressing himself differently than the other kids at our school. I thought about the girl backstage I recently met who is neurodivergent and got weird stares from the rest of the company. Although I had only known these people for 2 months, I cared about them so much and I would stand up for them whether they realized it or not. I didn't have the same problems as them, I never claimed to, but I did know what it was like to be different. 3 years later, I was back in a kindergarten classroom, but this time it was my first day as a student intern, and I immediately got a hug from a boy, who I soon observed that next to him was his teacher's aide, who stuck with him throughout the day to assist him with his special needs. As I was hugging him, I looked across the room to see a little girl with her head down, tears in her eyes, missing home, holding a locket. Through her tears, I saw a girl who loves to make her family laugh. I saw a girl who loves being on stage. I saw a girl who will grow up to stand up for that boy I was currently hugging on the other side of the classroom. I know that she will forever feel empathy for those around her because she knows what it's like to be different. I don't have all the answers for her, and I don't have one easy solution to make this 6-year-old's worries disappear. However, I do know that she will be okay, as long as she clutches her locket and takes it day by day. Thank you. Next up, we have Gabby Vasquez.
Hi, my name is Gabby. Oh, sorry for my voice. It's a little rough lately. Okay, so I wanted to preface this by, I wrote this piece about a month after my childhood dog died, in the depths of my grief. So I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a warning. It's a heavier topic, so if you need to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. And since I wrote this piece, things have gotten better. The grief has gotten easier. I don't cry as much anymore, and I've even gotten a new dog. I love him very much, but obviously he can't replace Poppy, which is the title of this piece. Poppy, there isn't one day that goes by that I don't think of and miss you in some way. Losing you was just like losing a sister. Although you were my dog, I felt closer to you than my actual sister sometimes. You always were there when I needed to cry or talk. You were such a good listener. That being said, you couldn't really respond back to me, but nonetheless, a great dog to be around. Part of me died with you that night. As I cling to the pillow you slept on at night while I try to sleep, I can't help but cry and think of you. What's up with that anyways? Whoever said that there are 5 stages of grief is full of crap, because I just can't stop crying. Every night before bed, as I'm trying to sleep, something reminds me of you, and all of a sudden, I can't breathe and my pillow is soaked with tears. Even just now, I was trying to sleep, but instead, I started crying, and now I'm writing this. Lately, I've been having dreams about you, that I walk in the door and you're laying down, and I'm so happy to see you and hold you again. The hard part is that even when I'm in it, I know it's just a dream. I'm so shocked that you're back because I know you're really gone. That's how I know it's not real. I can't bring you back to me. I guess that's also a good thing sometimes because I know to hold you tighter and to give you more pets. I would do anything just to smell and pet you one last time, to hold you and say goodbye. Saying goodbye was the hardest part. I still can't eat those Aldi Spice cookies without thinking about how that was the last thing you ate before you went to sleep. I can't go downstairs without seeing you in the place you were laid to rest. I can't look in the backyard without seeing you running around, chasing every animal in sight. I miss you so much, it hurts all the time. Every single part of me hurts. I know it's only been a month, but I don't think I can ever get another dog. I don't think I'll ever love any animal like I loved you. You're everything to me, Poppy. You were everything. Thank you.
I have a second poem I'm going to read. So this one's called I'm Nostalgic for the Present. The moment I'm living in right now is the moment my grade school self could only imagine in her wildest dreams, and my grandparent self one day in the far future will fondly recall as the good old times, with a smile on her face. Yet, why does it seem so lackluster while I'm living it? I see the past with rose-tinted glasses, the future with eager eyes, yet I neglect the present. From now on, I'm determined to find joy everywhere, to feel my emotions, to savor the moment, because the moment is fleeting. But the night is still young. I'm nostalgic for the present. Thank you.
Okay, this is a poem I wrote based on this quote from a book in my Lang class last year. So the quote was, "So many people live within unhappy circumstances and yet will not take the initiative to change their situation because they are conditioned to a life of security, which may appear to give one peace of mind, but in reality, nothing is more damaging." So the poem I wrote is called Through the Fog. Foggy confusion crowds all five senses, so thick that when I look down, it's as if my feet have disappeared. I take a walk hoping to clear my muddled mind, but there is no way to tidy the mess without knowing what was spilled. Limb by limb, I meld into the mist, being sucked in by the overwhelming air until I too am nothing. Buzzing bees of thoughts swarm the hive that is my head, but I am not capable of being the queen. I can't control them. Clouded by millions of ideas, my body becomes encompassed by smog, everything gone except the organs that sustain my living. When everything is changing, it's my heart that stays beating, my lungs that keep breathing. Perceiving nothing but panic, I continue to live, though not of my own volition. I roam for years as a haze of white with floating vitals, so close to being ghost, but not yet dead, no, still alive. I have always lived simply because that is what my body kept doing. But living is a privilege, and if I am to live, I should do so completely. If I rely only on my anatomy to survive, there will be no life that I have lived when it comes to an end. The vapor will dissipate, leaving no trace of me behind. Instead, I will let my experiences and emotions push me to be vulnerable, and even when everything is changing and my organs stop functioning, I will at least have a sound mind to keep me stable through the fog. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to read my narrative essay I wrote in Miss Ank's AP Lang class last year. September 16th, 7 a.m. I'm running out the door without my shoes on, my lunch falling out of my bag, my hair in a ratty bun. 7:15 a.m. I sit down at my friend group's declared breakfast table. I'm missing something. What am I forgetting? 1:45 p.m. I feel off. I don't feel like myself. All I want to do is cry, but I don't know why. 1:50 p.m. I forgot to take my meds. I have rehearsal after school. So much for taking them later. I won't be home until 6. Even one day can make my life so much harder than it should. I have been taking Lexapro for a little over a year now. Without consistency, not only does the medication not work as effectively, but my mood can't regulate normally. For me, taking it every day was absolutely necessary. The truth is, the winter of my sophomore year was probably the hardest thing I've ever faced. My classes were getting extremely difficult for me to keep up with, combined with my extracurriculars and home life. I'd never really been good with time management, but especially now it was becoming my downfall. Every time I woke up for school, I felt a pain in my chest, knowing that by the end of the day, I'd have an additional mountain of homework that I'd have to start at 6:30 because I don't get home until 6. I was falling into unhealthy eating and sleeping habits, skipping lunch to do homework, sometimes and never eating breakfast because I'd wake up in just enough time to get ready and run to the bus. I was falling asleep at 11:30 to 12 and waking up at 5:30 so that I could shower in the morning because I was too exhausted to do it the night before. Not to mention, I was falling asleep in class. And of course, because I was getting no sleep, my immune system was shot and I was getting sick every other week. I found myself crying most days because of all the stress in my body and mind. All in all, my mental, physical, and emotional health were all plummeting. My family and friends were growing concerned about me because I wouldn't talk to them about my struggles, but it was obvious that they were there. I got to my lowest point in December, not even thinking I would make it into the new year. It had even gotten to a point where friends were sending frantic messages to my mom, telling her how scared they were for me. The next day, my mom, dad, and aunt all sat me down with me at the table. They talked to me about my life and how this feeling is only temporary, how much more there is ahead of me if I just keep going. One thing they really said stuck with me. You can't keep doing this to yourself because whether you want it or not, eventually it will kill you. That made me really reflect on what I was doing. And slowly but surely, I was killing myself. I broke down. The only thing I felt in that moment was pain. Pain from guilt, from sadness, from fear. I decided it was time to start recovering, or at least trying to. By no means was it easy, but slowly and surely, I did. My friends supported me throughout the process, making sure I never felt alone or discouraged. My parents helped me find the right dosage of medication for me, making recovery much easier. Although all of this helped, I never would have made it out if I had given up or wasn't determined. Nobody really talks about how much determination it takes to recover from something like that. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, by far. Having overcome this, now I'm confident that I can face challenges in my life and come out the other side. Thank you.
All right, this is just a poem I wrote from an essay project last year. The majestic fawn runs through a forest. Its presence is a guide for the lost and hopeless, locked in the dark woods. It leaves a glow in its path for those to follow, to also be rekindled by its message and rise from the trenches of our world. The hunter searches for its prey. It spots the fawn, its target. Arrow loaded, he strikes. The fawn lies dead, its glow dwindling away, milked dry by the hunter's hunger. The hunter returns to its master, the lifeless fawn in his arms. It's perfect, exactly what his master wanted, but it's missing something, the glow. They would never get it, no matter how hard they try, and the lost in the forest will never find their way out. Thank you.
All right, let's hear it again for our presenters this hour. So, selfishly, I've been to, 15 years of these presentations in Writers Week, and my favorite still to this day, I've seen a lot of professional authors, musicians, you name it, even English teachers that want to be musicians that come up here, fanboys, right? It's a great time. It's going to be awesome this week. Can't wait for it. But my favorite by far are the student presentations, right? You guys are awesome. It's incredible. So my question for you, what is your favorite memory or moment for Writers Week? You get to go too.
I get to go too. Yay! I really like the music performances, like Fanboys, and then if you guys know like Mr. T, like he's amazing. He's part of one of my favorite teachers. So
I think my favorite my favorite memory from Writers Week was when I presented last year with you, and just like after all of it happened, like just being like so proud of each other. Yeah.
I think my favorite part of Writers Week is always like the musical performances and fanboys. It's always really fun to see like the teachers performing.
My favorite memory is when there was this guest presenter and they talked about how they met their fiance at Writers Week.
Mine is probably seeing the students present. I feel like it's probably the best part of it.
I have this memory of seeing Ross Gay last year, and was it last year? I think it was last year. And I actually like ended up writing my college essay on like something based on something he said, and so I just really like that stuck with me.
I like when the teachers speak, and I also like when the students present.
My favorite memory is probably seeing Mrs. Rosala present last year. If any of you guys know her, she's very optimistic and like upbeat, and I just saw a side of her and like her backstory that I would have never expected from her, and she's really strong and cool for that. So shout out Miss Rosala.
My favorite memory from Writers Week is probably freshman year Fanboys, because it was like my first time seeing all these teachers that I had, like being weird.
All right, so if you find me over here, I am sitting behind a nice table of books, right? We have a solid collection of books for sale that all can go towards perhaps signatures if you want to get them signed later on, perhaps by a Pulitzer Prize winning author. But speaking of books, let's talk about favorite books. So our presenters today, what is your favorite piece that you have read perhaps recently, in the past, maybe growing up, whatever that is? What is that book that really shines brightly in your memory?
I don't really particularly like reading, but I would say maybe my favorite book is probably like The Maze Runner in like 5th grade.
I love reading, but I'm really bad at this question because I forget all the books and authors the second I read them. I've started tracking them. I've got 3 down for 2026. But anyway, so probably my favorite book is whatever I'm reading at the moment. I've never read a book I like hate, so that would be my answer.
Yeah, this is a hard question, but I'd probably say Beautiful Boy. If anyone's seen the movie, it's what the movie was based off of, and I really liked seeing it in writing, and it was a really good read.
I just recently read this book called Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, and it's really good, so I recommend that.
I'm not much of a big reader, but like the last book maybe that like stuck out to me was Jose Olivares' Promises of Gold. I got it in Ms. Gerber's class last year, so.
My favorite book is the Six of Crows book series. It's really, really good. Yeah.
I'm not much of a reader, but one of my favorite books, like I'm reading it right now, it's called All My Rage, and I recommend it. It's really good.
This isn't a book, it's a web comic. It's called The Sound of Magic by Ikwon Ha. It's also adapted into a drama on Netflix, and the way that he executes symbolism in his style is just so beautiful. It's genuinely life-changing for me.
I'm not too big of a reader also, but my friend introduced me to like a series called Percy Jackson like a year ago, and my favorite book is Heroes of Olympus: The Lost Hero, because it introduces my favorite character in the entire like fan thing. His name is Leo Valdez. He's the best one in there.
All right, fantastic, great answers, great book recommendations. We have like couple more minutes here. I'm gonna go, actually, I don't know if we have enough time. Actually, I'm gonna take a question from the audience. Does anybody in the audience have a question for any of our presenters here? Yeah, what do we got? Oh, where'd you get your idea for the comic? Right? Here you go.
Oh, God, yeah, perfect. I was just kind of like playing with the idea of learning to let go. It's something that I personally struggle with a lot, and I felt like having this sort of like relationship being represented through flowers was very something that connected with me because blue scilla flowers, they only last 2 weeks, and dandelions are like a whole season. And just like, you're just kind of like sitting there, and like even if you're done, you've moved on, like your past emotions will like carry through with you.
The assignment was also because our English teacher assigned like a comic thing, so we had to like draw like 5 panels, but she outdid herself, and I'm really proud of her.
All right, one last round of applause for our presenters here. Nice job. All right, great job. You're an awesome audience. Appreciate you. If you're sticking around for next hour and you want the book signed, and you don't have many opportunities to get a book signed by a Pulitzer Prize winner, we have it right over here. Come up and grab a book.